Figure this out. Toph, the first metal bender, making all artifacts into land, with Mycosynth Lattice on the battlefield making all permanents into artifact, and then oops, we pay 7 to put a Conqueror counter on Zhao the Moonslayer, and now everything is a non-basic mountain. What is going to be the result of everything after this all happens? Because Mycosynth Lattice made everything into an artifact. Toph makes all artifacts into lands, and now everything, including Toph, is an artifact land. Because all of those things are non-basic, now they're just mountains. And becoming a mountain means that all their abilities disappear, and they just have the ability to tap to add a red. But if all artifact lands lose their abilities, that means they don't have their abilities to apply. But if they lose all their abilities, they can't apply their abilities, which means nothing is a land anymore. If nothing is a non-basic land anymore, then Zhao doesn't apply to it. But if Zhao doesn't apply anymore, then this can apply again, making everything into lands again. But if everything is a land again, then Zhao can apply again and remove all their abilities. If Toph doesn't have her ability, she doesn't make things into lands, which means General Zhao doesn't apply, which means Toph can go back to making things into lands, but then General Zhao can apply to that. Okay, first off, whenever we're trying to apply changes to characteristics on the same things on the same layer, then we usually do them in the order of timestamps. But sometimes other effects applying first will affect what their effect will apply to as well. This is what we call a dependency, and if an effect is depending on another effect to know what that it can apply to, we will apply that later on, even if it has an earlier timestamp. Because Mycosynth Lattice making things into artifacts will change how many things that Toph can apply, we will apply Mycosynth Lattice first. And because of Toph's ability of making things into lands can affect what Zhao can affect when it makes it into mountains, we will apply Toph's ability next. And then finally, now that everything that needs to be affected has been affected, we will apply Zhao, the Moonslayer, on top of that. Now the weird thing is that Zhao applying will remove all abilities from all of these cards. But once an effect can get started applying on the layers, it will continue to apply even if those abilities get removed later on. So the end result will be Toph the first metal bender will be a legendary creature, artifact, land, human, warrior, ally, mountain, who's continuing to make everything into land, even though the only ability in her text box is going to be tap, add red, and she will still be a 3/3 with the same mana cost. Zhao the Moonslayer will be a legendary creature, artifact, land, human, soldier, mountain, who will still be making everything into a mountain, even though we don't actually see the ability and have the ability to tap for red, and he will still be a 2/2 that has the same mana cost. And then Mycosynth Lattice will be an artifact, land, mountain, which will still be making everything into an artifact, even though we don't actually see the ability on it, and it will have the ability to tap for red. Now I feel like I should probably specify that only the type changing effects are the only things that are going to be applying. All the other parts of the card that don't have anything to deal with this interaction aren't going to apply. So all cards on the battlefield, spells, and permanents aren't going to be colorless, and you can't spend mana as though it were mana of any color. Zhao will not have menace, non-basic lands won't enter tapped, and you don't have the ability to put Conqueror counter on Zhao. And Toph will lose the ability to earthbend at the beginning of your end step.